Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the iRacing V8 Supercar Series. We are broadcasting to you tonight live in glorious high definition with support from the V8 Supercar fan group, Direct Clutch Services, and the V8's online superstore. I'm Leo Gray, and we're going to have a slightly European feel tonight because we've got some help from the GT3 Series. Daniel Bryant, welcome aboard.
It's good to be in the booth with you, Leo. It's been a while since I've done a V8 race. I'm pretty pumped about this one.
Yeah, that's right. We are, of course, at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We were last here back in 2012, so it's been a long while between drinks here. But going to be an exciting race because it's a challenging circuit, and looking forward to this one.
Yeah, definitely. Mid-Ohio, fantastic track. And it's a track that you tend to get a few laps on if you're doing the natural progression to the V8 where you come out of the MX-5s or whatever you feel like racing in that one. And then you normally go to the Mustang. And in the Mustang, you'd seem to do Mid-Ohio every second or third week. So you rack up a lot of laps here. But when you get into the V8 Supercar, obviously there's been a long time between dips for Mid-Ohio. So it's good to see it back out there.
Yeah, great little circuit. Very famous American road racing circuits. And, of course, great to see these natural road courses with a lot of flow taking a bit more of a stand here in our championship. Now, we're also going to have a bit of another familiar voice joining us tonight because our hot lapper, we've got Clayton Brooks aboard. How are you, Brooksy?
Yeah, good, Leo. How are you, mate?
Yeah, very, very excited. Always good on a Monday night, and it's great to have you aboard here for a hot lap with us.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Hope I don't wreck it for you, but I've been doing a bit of practice this week for a change, so yeah, I hope to show you how you get around this circuit.
Yeah, it's been a while between we've seen you behind the wheel of a V8 Supercar here, Brooksy, but how are you finding the circuit? How are you finding the car?
It's quite good, actually. I remember the circuit from quite a few seasons ago. I remembered enjoying driving it back then, so I thought I'd give this week a bit of a go, and myself and Renz Brookman and Bo Cattell were able to nut out a half-decent setup early in the week, and with the help of Jared and a couple other guys, we've fine-tuned it, and yeah, a lot of guys are complaining at it being a bit icy, a bit skatey this week, but I really haven't found it that way, so hopefully that translates to a good race pace.
Yeah, there's a couple of you guys up pretty high on the grid there yourself for ANZ, and always good to see team owners getting involved as well and getting amongst it there, Brooksy.
Yeah, mate, yeah, work and family and running this ANZ mob. I don't get a lot of time to race, but I thought I'd put in the effort this week, so yeah, hopefully it works out okay.
We're going to let you get on with this lap then, mate. Take us for a run around Mid-Ohio.
Alright, thanks guys. Oh, and I've gone off the track of the first corner. Sorry, I'm suffering from a little bit of lag issues for some reason. Anyway, it's important to get a run onto this front straight, which I didn't do. 200 metre marker here. Go down a gear. Meant to get that apex, which I've missed completely. Run right out to the outside curve, then brake a bit deeper into turn 2, it's uphill. Brake a bit later than you think. I like to hug the inside there. A lot of guys sort of make a triangle out of that corner. This is the only real rest is down this straight here. You got to brake a bit earlier here, downhill, and you got a tailwind. Make sure you get that. This is where the fun begins on this track. Car's unweighted here, you got to be very gentle on the throttle. Brake just to get the nose pointed in, hit that apex through there. Unweighted again through here, just very gentle on the throttle through this entire section. With the undulations in this track, you just got to be very easy on the throttle the whole way around. Right out the wall here. Back a gear. Sorry boys, not a real good lap. I'm suffering from a lot of lag. And you just get this around and get a good run out onto the main straight again. And that will be a terrible lap. I've got no idea because my timing's not working.
There's a 26.595, Brooksy.
That's fair. I was 2 seconds slower than me PBs.
Well, we got to say though, it's this track's a handful at the best of times, just due to the nature of it all. Got to love that run from I think turn 4, or pretty well all the way through to the last corner. It's just a big roller coaster.
It certainly is. The amount of undulation through there, and yeah, you're up and down. The car's weightlessness. You got to make sure you hit every apex to get a good lap. It is quite difficult, but yeah, if you're committed through there, it can be very rewarding.
I tell you what, mate, we'll let you get off because I know there's a bit of work to be done before quals. That's coming along in a couple of minutes. So thanks for the tour around Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, no, thanks guys, and have a good call.
So we'll have a look at the quali preview, but what do you reckon of this place, Daniel? It's an exciting lap, even when there's no traffic out there, and when you get 24 other V8 supercars, it really turns it up.
Yeah, definitely. Just a fantastic circuit, but it's very tight. Once you come off those straights, obviously a good passing opportunity coming into turn 2 there, but once you get off those straights and you're playing the roller coaster across the back bit of this track, really hard to get around someone, let alone try and dodge slower traffic in front of you, because some of those hills, the rises that you don't really pay that much attention to, and you kind of go over it. The next thing, there's a car right there. I've seen a car spin a few times there at Mid-Ohio and just collect a whole bunch of cars. So it's going to be an interesting race. Hopefully everyone can stay clean and keep the racing really close. But yeah, love it.
Yeah, and everything you mentioned there is exactly why qualifying is going to be so important. If we have a look at the times so far before final qualifying, ridiculously tight up the top. The first 4 drivers have got less than a tenth of a second separating them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, qualifying for this one has been very intense, and it's a good mix of people up there as well. Madison Down, obviously only just scraping in there for first position, but Mitchell McLeod in second. That's a massive achievement there for Mitch, and good to see him out there giving it a red hot crack this week.
Yeah, a lot of happy drivers out there. Chad Chastain in 3rd, George Maris 4th, Jared Filsell and Renz Brookman 5th and 6th, John Latham 7th, Bo Cattell finds himself in 8th, Tobias Cerny up in 9th, and then Clayton Brooks, who took us for that hot lap, finds himself in the top 10.
Yeah, definitely. If you're going to put money on this, you would say that ANZ is going to get a podium somewhere with 4 of the top 10 being ANZ drivers. And I'm sure in this last qualifying session they will twitch some of their setups to make sure that they get a good position.
Yeah, well, we've seen already a couple of times this season that pole position has changed hands after the checkered flag in qualifying. So this is just a bit of a pre-qualifying result here. Once we get those final 20 minutes over and done with, we've got a 37-lap race ahead of us, and we'll run through the grid for you once we've got it completed.
Yeah, definitely. Madison Downs only just managed to... It was the last session. I'm pretty sure he got that lap time in where he's made it to pole, and only just. So, yeah, it definitely a few guys are going to be wanting to get that back.
Yeah, 7/100ths of a second is the gap separating Mitch McLeod and Madison Down. So that's not much out there. That could just be nailing that apex just that tiny little bit tighter, getting on the throttle maybe a little bit earlier, just being a bit tidier under brakes. Guys have got 20 minutes to try and find just the tiniest little bit of time. That's all they need.
Yeah, definitely. And there's plenty of spots here where you can find just that little bit to get you over the edge there and make it count. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be an intense session.
Now, whilst we're loading into the session, we'll have a look through the championship standings because we are a fair way through the season right now. There's been 6 races complete, so we are at the halfway point. And you see that Madison Down is just streaking away from it. He's 352 points clear of Bo Cattell. Chad Chastain finds himself in 3rd, with Tobias Cerny, George Maris, John Emerson, Lee Ellis, James McKnight, Josh Muggleton and Nigel Baines rounding out the top 10. So the big story there, of course, is just how far Madison Down's ahead, but it's also great to see guys like Cattell, Chastain, Cerny and Maris in the top 5.
Yeah, definitely. Good to see a mix of some of these drivers. We can't say they're all new drivers. Some of these are actual drivers that used to race a while ago, left for a while, and now they're back. But it's good to see a different mix of names. The last few seasons, obviously, big regulars like Richard Hampstead, John Emerson, all consistently getting up there in the top, and that was pretty much the top 5 would always have those familiar names. And now we've got a good mix of different drivers starting to shake it up a little bit.
Now we've got cars out on track now. The fairly tight circuit, right on board with Madison down. He takes a little bit of a short track there, trying to find himself a bit of space, because 22 drivers out there and there's not a lot of real estate to fight for.
No, there definitely isn't. Watching a few cars now, trying just stopping to make sure that they can get the right spot on track.
Now here's Richard Hampstead. He's heading into the roller coaster section. This is where things get real up and down. A lot of late apexes you need to hit. A lot of braking zones you need to try and straighten up, and a lot of blind corners too.
Yeah, it's definitely, and it's very easy to get loose around here. Use a little bit too much curb. Don't take the corner quite right. Use quite a bit of speed. Really got to be dedicated, and a few of these corners, you've just kind of got to put faith in it that you've turned it in quite right.
I tell you what, it is such a satisfying place to nail a lap at though.
Definitely. I reckon it's probably one of the most fun laps to do. I've always loved in Ohio. I've always liked when it shows on the calendar. I think I was one of the guys that was pushing for this when we were talking about the season and what should be on there. And me and Jay have had plenty of races here in the Mustang, so it's good to see it out there in the first out.
Well, Richard Hampstead, who we were just following, has given himself a PB. He was in position 11. He's done a 24.6. That's going to bump him up to about position 7 right now. Also, Marlon McMullen coming to the line. McMullen is P13 overall for the week. Mitch McLeod's gone fastest for the session as well. He's P2 overall, so right on the pace off the bat.
Yeah, good to see Mitch sitting there with a little bit of pace.
And we're right back with our current pole sitter again, Madison Down. He's been the form driver all season, hasn't he? Hasn't put a foot wrong. 5 wins from 6 races, worst result of a second. That's just pure dominance of this championship.
Yeah, when Madison, it doesn't even seem like he really tries to win this thing. It just seems to happen for him. But I'm sure he puts in a lot of effort to what he does. In anything that he jumps, he's always fast as a sim racer. So he's the man to beat. He's the one that everyone wants to beat.
Yeah, we have seen already that it's not been all easy for him. Road Atlanta was a highlight race for me, where he had some big challenges early on and they all fell away. Montreal, of course, Richard Hampstead came out on top, but we did see that there is competition out there prepared to take it to him. He's actually brushed the wall there coming through that left-hander, and he's looped it. Big slide for Madison Down. Just shows just how easy it is to get it wrong here. Even the best can find themselves in the fence.
Yeah, definitely. Very easy to get it wrong, especially when you're pushing your car that hard, just to find that little bit to make sure that you secure that pole, knowing that there's a few guys that are right on his tail. So, yeah, very easy to just put one tyre on and end up in a wall.
We've got Bo Cattell coming through the same section of road that Madison Down was just at. It looks like he's carrying a lot of speed, and he's actually just run wide in the final corner there.
Pushed it a little bit too hard and didn't pay off for him.
Yeah, we know in these qual sessions they're fighting as hard as possible to find any little advantage, and it's very easy to find yourself getting it wrong at this place.
His team boss just a little bit further ahead. Clayton Brooks is on a fast one here.
He is P10 on the timesheets. Very fast commentator. He, of course, takes care of GT3 Challenge with Daniel every Thursday night.
Yeah, he's fantastic to be in the booth with, and it's good to see him out there giving it a run. Obviously, he spends a lot of time managing and running the team, so it's good to see him out there with the other ANZ guys and just getting out there, making sure that he's having a bit of fun with it.
How good's this corner he's on right now? It's almost a blind entry. It starts to dip a little bit in the entry and then goes up and down in the one bit of road there.
Yeah, that's all fate when you're going over that corner. You kind of just turn it in and you hope you hit the apex right and you're not carrying too much speed, but on the flip side of that, you don't want to scrub too much either, because if you slow it, you'll stuff yourself up.
Now Brooksy was so close to a PB there. 24.74 and his best is a 24.73. The thing I noticed on that run of Brooksy's there, comparing himself to Bo Cattell, who we saw go off at the last corner, there's a lot of different lines you can take through some of these corners here. Great to see the way the different drivers are managing different parts of the track.
Yeah, definitely. Probably one of the, well, you can, if in the second corner coming up into the hairpin, you can, if you want to carry more speed going down onto the second straight, you go out a little bit wide, hit an apex earlier, and then kind of just straight shoot it down. Obviously, that leaves you open for a position. But the other way you can do it is really hug that corner and get it in there nice and early and all the way around. And it's like that across the whole track. There's different ways you can approach this track, still relatively get the same speed. But when it comes to the actual racecraft, once you hit the race, that's where it's going to be a challenge. Which line to take? Where can you get defense? Where are you stronger? Where's your opponent weaker? It's going to be brilliant to watch.
Why we love this place so much. I think it's a fantastic racetrack. Great challenge for the drivers, which is exactly what we want.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping that we see some really tough side-by-side racing coming in through the back section of this track. It's always interesting to watching a few of the other cars do it. And with the V8 Supercar compared to obviously the GT cars and whatnot, you can give them a bit of biff. You tap a few of those GT cars around and the aero's gone and you're completely shot. V8 Supercar, you can smash it into each other relatively and so it's going to be great to watch.
Got Ian Ford starting a lap. He's joined Demidov Motorsports the week before. Got those bright yellow Darrell Lee colours on the car. Really stands out in the field. And he's currently P8 for the session. The 25.2, but seems to be having a little bit of a blinking issue, it seems.
Yeah, I was looking before. He seems to be struggling there with his connection, which is a little bit disappointing. Hopefully he can get it sorted when it comes around to race time. But yeah, definitely. Hopefully, yeah. It's really hard to get a lap down when you're blinking, and very distracting for anyone around you.
I think that Ian's 25.2 from this session is his best lap for the week. So always exciting for a driver to get involved at the very last minute, get on board and smash out a time in this last qual session, and then get yourself all set for the race. And a big slide over that hill.
Just having a quick look at Madison Down, who's just looks like he started his hot lap. He's got a bit of traffic in front of him though, just to make it a little bit harder.
Yeah, just watching him come through turn 2 there, he was hugging that inside line that we heard Clayton Brooks mention, and I know you can take a very late apex there and set yourself up for the back straight, just like you mentioned. But going to be really interesting to see just the different lines you can take. He's a big slide through 4 and actually finds himself off the road. Must be pushing very hard. That kind of tells me that his 24.0, which he has embedded in this session, that's got to be a very fast lap if he's finding it that hard to make any more time.
Yeah, definitely. There's a person here that we actually haven't mentioned because he's not in this slot. Renz Brookman. Not too sure how he's going in his qualifying session. He could be one of the guys that could easily pit and go straight to the top.
That's right. You've got the European drivers find themselves off in another session, and you'll have Renz Brookman, probably Chad Chastain and Tobias Cerny in there as well. Brookman is, of course, P6 overall. Tobias P9 and Chad Chastain P3. So those guys are going to be a big factor tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those ones where you kind of wish that they were all in one group so you can see what's going on. But that's the way it falls in the sim racing world. So it's good to kind of throw a bit of a mix in there. But yeah, all three of those guys massively talented, and any of them could take that pole position.
A lot of drivers you find out on outlaps at the moment here, just due to the nature of the circuit, it's very tough to put together a clean lap. So if you find yourself off track, you need to get out there quickly. But Dean O'Brien's coming through the final turn. Hard to wrestle the car even through that last corner, and a 24.785 is going to be a PB for Dino.
Yeah, great lap, 24.785. You definitely can't win with that time.
That's going to put him just outside the top 10, I think P12. Great start there for Dino. There's 6.5 minutes left in the session, so not much time to get yourself out there and try and move your way up the grid. With a 1.5 minute lap here, there's not much more you can do. Richard Hampstead, however, has got a pretty good sector on. He was getting some drafts down long back straightaway, but of course he's got this tricky roller coaster section to make his way through.
Yeah, this is where it'll make or break you. Really seems like he's going quite clean through here at the moment. Using a bit of the curve there.
You definitely notice through some of these corners that you sacrifice the exit to set yourself up for the entry of the next corner, and I really like that because I find that sometimes the fastest way is not to just go as fast as you can on that one particular point, but to set yourself up for the next corner or the corner after that.
Yeah, I think it's another great thing about Mid-Ohio. You've got to think a few corners ahead and where you want to be. And when it comes to race night, you need to think about where you're going to be and where the person behind you and the person in front of you is going to be as well. So it really shakes it up.
Now Hammer's just pulled the PB out of that. He went through 3.10s up to a 24.4. He's going to be now P8 on the timesheets. Fantastic run there.
Yeah, great lap there from Richard. Looked like he had a few moments there where it looked a little bit wobbly for him, but still managed to relatively keep it straight. So there's obviously still a bit of time in there for him.
Now Lee Ellis driving the TTR coming down this long back straight. Ellis is sitting P8 for the session on a 24.817. That is his best time for the week. So he's going to be looking at a top 15 start for the race and hoping to improve on that.
Yeah,
that right there, he just went through the corner I'm talking about. You watch them, they hug the left-hand side of the track instead of drifting wide like you normally would, because you need to set yourself up for the following right-hander.
Yeah, and this corner here is just amazing. It didn't actually look like he used as much curb as what Richard did and pushed the car out as wide. But definitely looking to try and hold as much speed as you can. And this back part's actually quite tricky, as we see just a little bit into there. Trying to get these couple of corners right, you really need to hit those apexes and try and set yourself up to get a nice straight line coming onto the start finish.
Right, now we've got Mark Peter Dean driving for V8's Online Motorsports on screen here as well. Mark's got a best lap at 25.5 for the week. Great looking livery, if I do say so myself. But
yeah,
good to see him out there.
Not biased at all on that one. It is a fantastic looking livery. But yeah, great to see him out there. Always good to see one of our own guys out there having a run. And Mark's definitely a competent driver especially when it comes to the V8 Supercar. Keeps his nose clean and tries to stay out of trouble.
And that's very important in this car. We've seen, actually I'm really looking forward to tonight's race based on NASCAR started bringing their nationwide series here a couple of seasons ago. Peter Dean runs a bit wide there on the exit, very easy to do though. But a circuit like this, especially this back section, you don't think it as being a really easy place to get a big heavy car like this around, and of course that's what's going to make it so exciting for the race.
Yeah, exactly. It'd actually be brilliant to see one of our NIS races here at Mid-Ohio. Yeah, a lot of fun to watch. It's always good being a NASCAR out on a road track. And yeah, V8 Supercar is amazing. I think nearly one of the funnest cars to drive around this track is the IndyCar. The IndyCar is absolutely amazing around Mid-Ohio.
They of course have an annual event here at the track as well. Great fixture on their schedule. We've got nearly 2 minutes left in the session so far. That means that we've got one lap and then maybe one more. We've got Madison Down coming to the line here. He's just completed an outlet by the looks of things, but either way, a 24.6. Not what he's looking for at the moment. 2 minutes left in the session. I can tell on screen, fighting hard for RNZ, tag best manager Falcon. Position 8 so far for Cattell. He's actually bettered that so far in this session, moved himself to a 24.6. Have to be so delicate on the throttle. You can hear it over all those curves and rises. Wrestling the car through that right hand up.
It is. He gets it a little bit sideways there. Bo Cattell struggling. It's absolutely amazing though, the amount of on and off throttle that you're using. You know, just tapping the brakes. I think you definitely find yourself in that middle section there using more throttle than you do using brake to kind of slow the car down and just throwing it around and hoping for the best. Because Bo really throws this thing around. Yeah,
he was looking very, very taily out there on the entries to the corners, which is quite uncomfortable. But we got Mitch McLeod coming around now. McLeod, of course, very quick this week, 24.126. He's the closest man to Madison Down's pole time.
He's definitely going to push it for a lap here. Madison Down. Mitch McLeod outside base coming across there.
So easy to do around this place though. He's going to be cutting it close to getting another lap in because of course 15 seconds left until the checkered flag flies. McLeod coming through the final complex of corners, keeps it off the inside curve, and he's going to run it wide and find himself at the 24.2. So very close to his PB. He's going to call it that for the session. Checkered flag is out. Drivers are going to have to complete the lap that they're on. Richard Hampstead out on the fast one. Know that Hammer's got time in the tank. He improved 0.3 on an earlier lap from his PB. He, of course, is the only man to have broken Madison Down's stranglehold on this series. Did that at Montreal. So he's going to be very keen to move himself up the sheets.
Yeah, definitely. When Richard finds his form, he definitely can take it to the best of him. We've seen him produce some brilliant results. So, hopefully he can be the man to mix it up a bit for this one as well.
He was on the limit of grip through that braking zone there. You saw the car just twitching and he was fighting to keep it in a straight line. It's looking like a pretty tidy lap, I got to say, for the minute though. He hugs a nice and tight line through this long right-hander. Throw it back across to the left.
He's looking really good for this lap. The only, obviously, little bit that he was a little bit stuttery was coming over that hill.
That was a 24.466. That was another PB for Hampstead. It's going to move him up into 7th by the looks of things. Ian Ford crosses the line. 25.6 for him. Not a PB, but that's going to complete the session for us for tonight's final qualifying. We see here qual results for the session. Madison Down, fast man for the week, is the fast man for the session. Not a PB for him, but he will be starting on pole unless someone did something special in the Euro server. We'll let you know what happened there shortly. Mitch McLeod, Jared Philsell, Richard Hampstead and Lee Ellis round out the top 5, with Bo Cattell, Clayton Brooks, Marlon McMullen, Dean O'Brien and Ian Ford the top 10. Wayne Burke, Kurt Stenberg, Mark Anderson, Michael Wilson, Carwin May, Troy Cox, Jake Burton, Corey Preston, Mark Peter Dean, Sanjan Delilik, Michael Middleton and Henry King round out the drivers to set a time this session. I'll tell you what, Daniel, I'm pretty keen for this race because I love Mid-Ohio. V8 Supercars around here, that's going to be a really exciting fight.
Yeah, absolutely pumped for this one. We've seen people's qualifying pace. The biggest thing is going to be seeing how good the actual race sets are, because obviously to get a good qualifying lap around here, you need it to be quite twitchy, a lot of turn in to make sure that you can get the most out of the car. But to actually get a really good race set around here, you need the complete opposite. You need to make sure that you've got enough grip to get around here to consistently do laps back to back. I know ANZ would have been focusing a lot on that, so it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, you're not wrong with any of that, mate. And of course, 37 laps tonight is going to be a long race. There's going to be a pretty wide pit window. We'll cover everything for you after we take a short break, so stick around. We'll be right back after this. Contact free. Close. There's Emery.
Muggleton just has to cross over this crest. He will cross the line and will win the championship.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to V8 Online's live and exclusive coverage of the iRacing V8 Supercar Series. We're back here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for 37 laps around this beautiful, beautiful American circuit. I'm Leo Gray, back in the booth, of course, and Daniel Bryant, thanks again for joining us. How good is it to be here at Mid-Ohio?
It's absolutely brilliant to be here, and I'm excited to be here. I absolutely love this track. We've seen some awesome results. It's been so long since we've been here in a V8 supercar, so it's just good. It's great to get back here. I'm sure all the guys are loving it. You know, this is, we were just talking before that, you know, this really is a driver's track. You know, you really feel gratified at the end of a lap when you know that you've absolutely nailed this one. So cannot wait for the race.
And we've seen already just how tight qualifying was. The race is going to throw up a lot of interesting challenges. It has been a long time since we were here, of course, though. Last time was way, way back, and it was Justin Ruggier who took the victory in September 2012 from Shane Van Gisbergen and Madison Down. Now, back then, that was a 25-lap race, only 90 Ks, so it would have been a pretty straightforward event. Tonight's going to be a bit different because there's 37 laps. There's going to be a pit stop, and to tell us a bit about that, we've got Reese Gardner for Astro Gaming Headsets.
Yeah, guys, it's a pit stop race tonight, and, you know, that's where I come in, and it's the type of race that I look out for, and the whole reason I'm here at V8's Online, of course. We've got a 37-lap race around Mid-Ohio, and it's looking to be about the end of lap 7 to around about lap 29:30, the pit window. It's a very, very wide pit window, this race, and we're looking at somewhere in the realm of 17 litres, I'm hearing, in terms of fuel taken at the pit stop, and it seems that tyres will be required. I did hear from the ANZ pit garage that they can take just rear tyres, but because of the push that gives the car in the corners, they're thinking about taking all 4 tyres. So yeah, I'm just thinking better these guys than me, because I personally don't like Mid-Ohio, but it is a good track to watch the racing on.
Yeah, definitely a great track to watch. And when it comes to your thoughts on Mid-Ohio,
we can forgive you there, Reese. Of course, this circuit that some of us absolutely love. It's a 13-turn, 3.6 kilometre circuit that winds itself through a lot of natural hills and undulations out in Ohio, of course, if you didn't pick from the name. But beautiful, beautiful stretch of road. 13 turns. Couple of easy passing opportunities at the first part of the track, and then a big, big run through this roller coaster ride from turn 4 back to turn 13. Now, of course, that qualifying session we covered before, we saw just how tight the times are up the top, and of course, Madison Down finds himself on pole with a 1:24.056. Less than 1/10 clear there from Mitch McLeod, who finds himself in second. Check out the gap between McLeod and Renz Brookman. You don't get any tighter than that. George Paris finds himself in fourth, with Jared Filsell, Richard Hampstead, Lee Ellis, Bo Cattell, Tobias Cerny, Clayton Brooks, Marlon McMullen, Dean O'Brien, Ian Ford, Michael Fulcher, Kurt Stenberg, Mark Anderson, Jake Burton, Richard Hunter, Sam Collins, and Corey Preston, the 20 drivers to set a time. But check out the rear of the grid there. We've got Josh Muggleton and Justin Ruggier, 21st and 22nd with no qualifying time. 37 laps for these guys in this beautiful circuit. I think that's going to be a great storyline to follow.
This is probably actually going to make this race really, really interesting. I don't think I've ever seen these two start from the back of a grid, except for maybe in a race of champions where we've done a reverse grid and they've had no choice. So yeah, definitely talk about making life hard for yourself.
Well, those guys, of course, are doing the GT Academy and putting a bit more focus to that. But they're just enjoying the V8 Supercar when they get involved. You see them having a bit of a chat there in the drivers' briefing, and I think that they're up for a bit of fun tonight. And of course, that's going to make it very exciting for us. But as for the race there, Brooksy, what do you reckon? not going to be as straightforward and easy as I think. Brooksy's in 10th. What did I say there, Daniel?
Yeah, it's all right. We
He's on
always
the
get
grid.
mixed up like that. You know, Brooksy, me, you know, it's easy to get.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, it's going to be an awesome race. Like, look how close Renz is to Mitch. That's absolutely incredible. Ex-teammates there. You know, Renz will definitely want to make sure he gets in front of him. Renz hasn't had much luck when it comes to races, the last few that he's had. So hopefully it all plays out for him. And yeah, it's going to be awesome to watch.
Here we go, 37 laps, there's a lot to play for here. Anything can happen out there. Reds are up. And here we go. It's not the fastest start by Madison down there, but the second part was pretty good. George Maris, of course, with a big run. He's going to try and get himself up into third. Right into that first turn there. Maris is pressuring very hard. Going to get an overlap there on Renz Brookman. He's going to have a dive for turn 2. Harris is through. Brookman just squeezes in front of his teammate Jared Filsell. We head down this long back straight.
We've got a car off just at the back there. It's like Corey Preston's struggling. He's managed to get it back on track. I think it was a little bump there from Justin as they make their way through. I think this is a race at the back here between Josh and Justin to see who gets furthest in front.
2 by 2, 3 rows of 2 through the roller coaster there. Harris and McLeod getting very rough up the front.
It's definitely a hard one to go 2 by 2, but they'll definitely push for it. Nice little train here with Mitch McLeod, George Maris.
And even with how hard these guys are fighting, Madison Down hasn't really streaked too far away. There's probably about 2 or 3 car lengths between him and McLeod. Oh, check out Brookman on Maris. A little bit of Morse code there on the bumper.
Yeah, Brookman obviously very keen to get around and up there.
So that's the first lap completed. Madison Down leads Rich McLeod, George Maris, Renz Brookman and Jared Filsell the top 5. Richard Hampstead's joined the back of this top 5 train. He's got a driver that's going to have to be kept an eye on as well. Got plenty of pace on him. Muggleton and Ruggier have found their way up to 18th and 19th on the first lap.
Let's have a look at Richard Hampstead's car. Looks like he's carrying some damage there on the right-hand front. Hit someone, but does seem to have a little bit of wear there.
Yeah, he's right front. Looks like he's definitely clipped the wall somewhere in there. We have seen that drivers are able to carry on with a beaten up car and still get some pretty good results, but 37 laps is still a long way. Don't really want to do too much of that.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely don't want to do something to your steering around here to make it very difficult. Down, just starting a little bit of a gap, about 2 car lengths now between Madison and Mitch McLeod.
Yep, up the front, half a second. He was a 10th clear of Mitch McLeod that lap by. George Maris, the fast man for this lap. He was 2/10 quicker than Maris, 1/10 quicker than Madison Down. So if he can get himself by Mitch McLeod, George Maris
It's like Bo Cattell going to make a move on Lee Ellis. Oh, it goes in there a little bit hot. It's going to hold the inside line. Lee Ellis a little bit of a bump.
It's an awkward corner for running side by side, that turn 2. Even if a guy is right up alongside you on the entry, you can still hold your position. Just
like
behind.
Clayton Brooks is getting a little bit of pressure here from Tobias. There's Dean O'Brien, Marlon McMullen, Ian Ford, all starting to bunch up behind Brooksy.
So this is a train here from Ellis in 7th, all the way down to Ian Ford, who's 13th.
Looks like this Ruggier and Muggo pushing their way through. Jake Burton's not making this easy for him.
Ruggier, big
slide there from Ruggier.
I think those guys are having a great time. I'll tell you what, Jake Bird, who's finding his way to the top, so it's here for Powerbomb. It's been a couple of weeks that he's had Muggleton behind him as he comes through the fields. This is a great learning experience for Burton.
Yeah, definitely. Teaches you a little bit of racecraft when you have someone with that kind of experience sitting behind you.
Yeah, thrown straight into the deep end. You see that the first four have breaking away a little bit. And looks like Tell's found his way past Hampstead. Philsell,
sorry, I just saw Dean O'Brien made a move on Tobias there. And Ian Ford got a bit of pace on him coming down into the straight.
Tobias has got a bright yellow Demidov Falcon filling up his rearview mirror. And then Ian Ford's got a Powerbond car for company as well. So he's in the middle of a Powerbond Daco sandwich there. Marlon McMullen.
Oh, Josh Muggleton's actually managed to move a few spots here as well. There's a car now between Justin and Muggo.
Yeah, just looking back there, Ruggier and Burton were fighting hard. Both of them actually had to move off in turn 2. Burton's lost a few spots, Ruggier's lost a few spots. Big winner there is actually Josh Muggleton. He's got Mark D. Anderson between him and Ruggier.
These guys are obviously pushing it really hard watching them come through turn 1. You can see big clouds of dirt.
Brookman and Maris, sorry there Daniel. Brookman and Maris were side by side, had a bit of door-to-door contact there. That was a tricky part of the road to go 2x2 through. Somehow Maris has still managed to hold the position. But Mitch McLeod not really letting Madison Down get away. There's only half a second still separating them two.
Yeah, definitely. Really, that's not much in it between these guys, and you know, this could all come down to pit stop strategy.
Check out McMullen and Ford though. McMullen sticks the nose in, can't really do much there. Ian Ford runs a little bit wide. McMullen putting big pressure on the back of Ian Ford.
Definitely wants that position. This is where it's going to start getting interesting. And we've got 2 laps before pit window opens, and you think a few of these guys will be ducking straight away to get some clean air.
You can see with how hard these guys are fighting. It's by 30 streak away, so it's tough to get side by side through there. Ian Ford's going to lose the spot. Great move by Mullen. Going to let his Powerbomb teammate have a bit of a look. I think that's Kurt Stenberg, who's all over the back of the Darrell Lee car.
Yeah, great driving there from Mullen. Really kind of put the pressure on him and made him crack to get that position.
Ellis Cattell fights on again at turn 2. A great corner there, turn 2. There's a number of different ways you can make your way through it. Cattell's had pace, but Ellis has done a great job to hold him off.
Yeah, looks like Bo Cattell, he's got the speed, but Lee Ellis is making the most out of the track and making sure that Bo Cattell can't get around him.
They're fighting very hard there, still barely a bump in between them. That's the thing with this place is that a good driver, even if he's got more tyres or perhaps a slower car, if he places the car in the right position, he can actually fend off and defend quite well through here.
Yeah, definitely. All you have to do is kind of disrupt the flow of the person behind you and just back them up a bit, and you can defend your position. But in saying that, you know, it's easy to leave yourself open as well to overtaking. Brooks is doing a fantastic job out there at the moment, sitting in 9th.
Yeah, great job from everyone out there to be going as clean as they have so far. See the top 4 out there, Madison Down, Mitch McLeod separated by 7/10 of a second. Mitch McLeod was actually 2/10 quicker that last time by. George Maris and Brent Brookman complete the top 4. They're streaked away a little bit from Jared Philsell. Got a gap of about 1.7 seconds back to him. Hampstead, however, looks like he's got a bit of pace on Philsell.
Brooksy just lost the position there to Dean O'Brien coming into the hairpin. But Brooksy's got got a fair bit of speed coming in here. Coming down this straight.
Yeah, you can get a strong run on that exit there, and you can push very, very deep into this.
We're just pulling that back on the race recall replay for you.
Run from Clayton Brooks there, but didn't have enough to hold off Dean O'Brien. Moves O'Brien up into 9. Now this fight for third with Maris and Renz Brookman still hot as ever.
Yeah, Renz Brookman definitely eager to get around as we move into lap 8. No one still in pits yet.
No, it's actually the first couple of drivers in already. Cerny pitted a lap earlier, but Ian Ford, Kurt Stenberg and Justin Ruggier in this lap.
We'll see a good move there from Justin Ruggier to get outside of traffic that's obviously a little bit slower than him and get some clean air.
We'll have to watch and see how this all plays out, because if you're doing well, you might want to stay out a bit longer if you need the position.
This Ellis Bo Cattell battle still hot. Bo Cattell really strong down the straight. Going to try and get the inside line here. Goes in really hard. Lee Ellis trying to shut the door. They're going to go side by side.
That's another part of the track where Cattell nearly off.
Hits the dirt. Manages to keep it together, but loses all his momentum. And now he's got Dean O'Brien giving him a bit of pressure.
O'Brien's going to be hungry there. He tries to straighten the car up early, O'Brien, but has a bit of a slide on the exit there. There are a lot of places on this track where you can defend really well, even if you thought that you're in a bit of trouble there. And it's
Renz
great bit of driving.
Gave George Maris a big touch. Pushes George Maris to the pit.
Oh, that was
Pull that up on race recall replay. I'm not sure if George Maris was trying to get in, but Renz just managed to give him a bit of a nudge, and Maris seems to flick that way. So yeah, maybe it might have been a late decision there from George Maris to say, oh, obviously pressure's getting a bit too hot for me here, I'm dumping into pit speed to give myself some clean air.
Yeah, the body language on the car almost made it look like it was just a correction move, but either way that leaves Maris the first of the front runners in, lap 9 of 37.
This is the battle at the moment. Mitchell McLeod, Madison down. Mitchell McLeod is looking very racy. He's definitely got the speed out there. His car's still looking quite good. Just see how long he decides to stay out for, and who breaks the stalemate. Who's going to be the first into pits?
Yeah, they have been trading lap times, those two. Just seems to be a 10th here, a 10th there. The gap has hovered at about 6 or 7 tenths of a second pretty well this whole run. We're nearly 10 laps into the race. So that's not much separation at all. Now just looking through the pit stops there, we said that strategy was going to be an interesting one because it looks like Maris has lost a bit of time. He finds himself very close to Tobias Cerny, who was at the back half of the top 10, but check the pit stop times. Maris had a 17-second stop, Tobias 8.7.
Yeah, definitely one of those things that a pit stop can definitely destroy your race if you don't do it right. And if that was an intentional pit stop from George Maris, the struggle that you would have had to try and set up your pit for when you wanted it just then would have absolutely killed him.
There's a couple of other drivers in this lap, Marlon McMullen, Josh Muggleton, Richard Hunter and Corey Preston, so interesting to see how their times all go, because they were
Here we
all
go,
a lot quicker.
Here's the battle. Muggleton, Justin Ruggier going for it here. Justin obviously pitted in a little bit earlier. I'm actually a little bit concerned about the TTR setup, seeing they seem to be a little bit loose compared to what A and Z are running. So, maybe that's why Madison Down might push it for a little bit longer on these tyres to make sure he's fresh going towards the end. but I reckon Josh Muggleton might be gone by the time he's finished this race.
It'll also be interesting to see what happens with drivers in these pit stops, but Ellis can tell this is still on, and there's another ANZ car for company because the boss has come along, Clayton Brooks.
Yeah, Brooksy into a nice little battle here. We want to make sure that Bocatel gets around Lee Ellis, but yeah, definitely talk about feeling the pressure. 2 ANZ boys starting to give you a bit of a bump.
Gap up the front still remained very consistent. Down and McLeod actually just turned pretty well identical lap times. McLeod was about 100 quicker. Both were doing 25.4s that time by. McLeod is not letting Madison down get away.
Ren's the fastest of the top 3 last lap around. Obviously a bit of clean air with Maris having to pit. Leaves Renz open to really use the pace of his car. He'll be pushing because he want to get into this fight.
Yeah, not wrong, and he's going to be hoping to jump George Maris in the pits as well. So we're going to have to follow that one and see where that comes along, because we saw how close they were before Maris found his way into the pits. Renz, however, as he comes through turn 12, is going to bypass pit entry and carry on for another lap.
And we've got a car that's decided to hit the pits. That's Richard Hampstead.
Hampstead in from 5th. Cars behind him carry it on.
Here's a nice little battle. Lee Ellis yeah, as long as this battle keeps happening, this leaves it open for Dean O'Brien. Obviously, he'll be wanting to get back up there.
Yeah, Cattell won't really have any pressure behind Clayton Brooks there. They start to fight, of course, that'll change things. Now Muggleton finding his way through the Powerbond cars. He's got Kurt Stenberg here. These Powerbond guys are getting a bit of a trial by fire with Muggo and Ruggier. Of course, Stenberg, another recent addition to the top split here, and he's had a lot of good results this season.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of one of the new faces to come through the ranks, and you know, I don't think it'll be too much longer till he's consistently fighting for the top 10.
Now they've got a long drag down through long back straight.
Muggo's on the right line here though.
Yep, we have seen if you can push it really hard under brakes though, then he lets him go though, I think. Which is a good bit of heads up driving. If he can tuck himself behind the former champ, he might be able to learn something here.
Yeah, that's right. Follow his line, make the most of it. It's definitely, you know, it would be a hard battle to win against Josh Muggleton, so you might as well try and follow his line. And so Bo-Catel's managed to hit the pits, so's Dean O'Brien.
Now also, whilst all that was happening, Richard Hampstead has jumped George Maris in the pits. Maris has lost a lot of time with that pit stop. Cattell and O'Brien obviously hoping for a much cleaner result.
I think Bo-Catel, the first of the ANZ guys to take a pit. Oh, second, sorry.
Now Cattell comes out and he finds himself in a bit of a powerbomb sandwich there, right behind Cerny, and he's going to have McMullen all over him. Great job there by Cerny with his early stop.
Yeah, definitely. Fantastic job there from Tobias, and you know, getting in early, getting some fresh tyres, a little bit of fuel, and back out there again. See how this plays out for him coming into his last few laps when those tyres start to go off.
Brookman is quick right now. He's got pace over Mitch McLeod, reeling him in by about 2/10 every lap.
Looks like Mitch McLeod actually starting to lose a little bit of momentum here as well to Madison.
Well, once again that time by, Brookman was actually the fastest of the top 3. He was quicker than Mitch McLeod, who was also quicker than Madison Down. So Madison Down the slowest of the top 3 drivers right now. Of course, he's got track position, about 1.1 seconds he's managed to open the gap up to Mitch McLeod. Brookman 2.5 seconds clear of the lead.
Shouldn't be too much longer till we see one of these guys decide to take a pit.
Check out this shot at the back of Tobias Cerny's car. He's got tag pest management all over his rearview mirrors. That's Bo Cattell. Cattell just came out of the pits. He's got a bit of pace on at the moment.
Yeah, Bo, really quick straight out of the pit, making sure that he doesn't lose too many positions. So you want to get around Tobias really fast and back up there.
Cerny's had a fantastic season so far. He took a brilliant podium at Montreal. He's shown a lot of pace on a lot of really difficult circuits. And it's great to see him fighting for the consistent top 10s that he's in now.
You know, Brian having a few issues there. He's been on a bit of a blink, which was a little bit distracting. Josh Muggleton right behind him. Probably a little bit worried, but you know, he's been driving with Madison Downs for so long. He's probably used to the blinking.
Now check out Stenberg there behind him. We saw Josh Muggleton make his way through past the orange powerbond car, but Stenberg's doing a great job to hang on there. The gap hasn't really opened up at all.
It's not very often that these guys that normally sit around the back get to have someone like Josh Muggleton or Justin Ruggier to follow and learn from and see how they take the track. And it actually makes a massive improvement on the way that you drive following someone. You can watch how they race and kind of go, oh yeah, I can see how they're doing it. When you're actually following them and you can see when they're hitting the brakes, when they're turning in, you know, it really kind of boosts what you can do, and obviously this is really helping Kurt out a lot. Oh, look at this battle. Sam Collins, Michael Fulcher.
These two are racing very hard. 7th and 8th position on the road right now, still to make a pit stop, these two. But that's not stopping them from fighting like they are either.
No, Sam Collins making sure he's using all the road and stopping Michael from getting a run. Lee Ellis still out, decided not to pit this time around.
Yeah, Ellis still doing a great job to hold the position that he is right now. Clayton Brooks has taken over the charge behind him, so he got rid of one tag pest management car and he's picked up another one.
Yeah, Brooksy looks like he's actually looking quite fast. He really applies the pressure there coming into the hairpin.
Pace is looking good compared to Lee Ellis. He made 0.2 of a second that last time by.
Oh, this is getting interesting up the front here. Mitchell McLeod has pulled this back into under a second now, the gap between Madison Downs.
Seems that these front three, the lap times, they're just going at 0.2 of a second each way, pretty well every other lap. Because every now and then McLeod and Down will run the exact same time. McLeod will reel him in by a 10th or two, then next time Madison Down will make it up again. Now we're of course only lap 16 of 37, so still a long way to go. George Maris and Richard Hampstead though, check out this fight. See that Maris is putting so much pressure on the back of that TTL Falcon. Maris had a podium on and had a bit of a slow pit stop. Hampstead coming through the field. So these two are going to be right over each other.
Yeah, this is going to definitely get really hot coming into this hairpin once they get onto that straight. They get George Maris can get a good run out of turn one. Definitely looks like he's got the speed on Hampstead.
Yeah, you need to be planning ahead at this track, so good run out of turn one, set you up for turn two, aiming to move at turn four. Now Sam Collins pits from 9.
George Maris, nice and close.
Yeah, he's going to try and set himself up for a clean run down the back straight. You see him take slightly different lines from turn 2, but Hampstead's experienced, he'll be awake up to it. And they find their way heading down towards turn 4 and the start of the roller coaster.
It'd be interesting to see how close and bump it's going to get to Richard Hampstead coming over this roller coaster. He seems to have a lot more grip and can really push this car through the corner.
What I'm seeing here with these two guys is we're seeing that Maris has got fantastic pace through the middle section of the track, through all of these twisty bits, ups and downs. So you think, looking at him here, he's got the pace, you think he'd be on for a pass, but Hampstead being smart, Brookman into the pits.
First one to break out of the top three. It's George Maris, Richard Hampstead battle.
Yeah, it's
Maris
not going
pushes
away.
out wide. Going to go for a better run coming into the start finish line here.
I was just about to say there, Daniel, this is exactly what I was thinking earlier. Maris has got the car, but Hampstead using his head, driving it smart, driving it straight, and that means that Maris can't put his car where he needs to in the few passing spots on this track.
Yeah, guys, I'm here with Ian Ford, and I'm terribly sorry. I thought that Renz was calling me in when he actually wasn't. Apologies, but I do have Ian Ford here, and he did have a few problems in the pits. What happened, Ian?
Oh, I just got a bit over anxious going in there. I haven't had much preparation time, so I haven't practiced pit stops and all that sort of thing, and just slid it into the wall accidentally, destroyed the steering.
Oh, that's a shame. How did you feel about this race, Ian? Did you feel that you had good pace?
I've only done probably about 30 laps of practice all week, and I thought I had enough pace to get in the top 10 easy tonight again, so a bit of a bummer.
Oh, well, that's a shame, Ian, but good luck for the next race. These things happen.
Thank you, boys.
Now, of course, thanks for that quick pit report. Madison Down has pitted from the lead. We've got Maris and Hampstead. This fight's still on, but of course we're going to have to keep track of where Madison Down comes out.
All right, let's have a look at Renz Brookman coming into the last corner now. He's on the start-finish line. Madison Down's moving. Madison Down looks like it's had a fairly good stop there.
Of course, there is a car between them, and that's Michael Fulcher. Brookman's going to want to clear Fulcher as quickly as he can. Madison Down, though, with track position, that's going to be key for him right now.
Yeah, Madison obviously lucky man just to get out there in front. The gap actually looks probably about the same before pit stop, but obviously Michael Fulcher is going to be holding Renz up a little bit.
I think he is actually a bit closer. It was about 2.5 seconds before the pit stop. Big dive on Fulcher. He takes the position, takes it forcefully. Great job there by Renz Brookman. He's now got 1.5 seconds between him and Madison Down, so I make it that he's made about a whole second, and that's a great bit of job there in the pits.
Yeah, fantastic job there from Renz. Good driving there by Michael Fulcher as well. He knew that Renz was obviously anxious to get past and get back into a fight, and Michael Fulcher made sure that he gave him enough room there to get that move done. Now,
just up the road from Renz Brookman, I did see Madison Down have a big bit of a slide out of that downhill exit. So he's not going to want to burn the tyres up because there's still 17 laps to go. Lap 20 and 37, Clayton spins from P5. Mitch McLeod leads.
Mitch McLeod really rolling the dice here with pushing this stint for as long as he can.
Well, I'm just looking at the lap times though. We'll have to wait for Madison Down to run a completed lap. But Renz Brookman did a 25.58. Mitch McLeod did a 25.65. So it's a tenth between them. Clayton Brooks keen to see where he exits. He's out of the pits. He's through turn 1. Kept himself ahead of Dean O'Brien.
Looks like Kurt's going to get a move here on Brookman. No, he pulled out wide to have a look. Thinks better of it.
Yeah, we've got to give credit where credit's due. Stenberg driving a fantastic race, and he's another one of these guys that's learning every single week that he jumps in the car and fights for positions in these top splits. So great to see him racing as hard as he is. He's going to have a look down into turn 4. He pulls the Powerbond car out of the draft, thinks better of it for the time being, tucks in behind. That's Powerbond chasing down Tats.com.
And it looks like Justin Ruggier has fallen off altogether.
Yeah, Ruggier there had to make a second pit stop. I understand he had an off at turn 2 whilst we were interviewing Ian Ford and found himself in the wall. Jared Philsell pits from P2.
The two interesting ones here, the ones that are really rolling it, Mitchell McLeod, Lee Ellis. It's going to be interesting to see where he comes out compared to George Maris.
Yeah, a bit of a hot fight on a bit further down. Cattell and McMullen run side by side through the last corner. McMullen all over the back of Bo Cattell.
Bo Cattell obviously has shown a lot of speed, but he hasn't been able to shake Marlon McMullen ever since he got out of the pits.
Bias is making a bit of a gap there. Cattell's car looks awful tailing in the rear. You see that he's running very wide on the entry to try and set up a straight run down, and that's just making Marlon McMullen so hungry at that corner there, sticking the nose in.
I wonder if Bo Cattell has decided not to put rears on his car and they're slipping away, because he definitely seems to be struggling. Under the brakes, his car's twitching. It just doesn't look like he's got the grip there that he needs to get around.
Cloud still leads at the front. He's 17.5 seconds clear of Lee Ellis. 23.3 seconds clear. Sorry, got that completely wrong. He's 23 seconds clear of Madison Down. So that's the gap that he's got to watch, because he's trying to fight for a victory here.
Yeah, definitely.
That's opened up a little bit.
I'm sure he's probably trying to work out the calculations in his head to how much distance he needs from Madison Down by the time he needs to pit. I'm pretty sure if you can see that he's still making distance on Madison, then he might try and stay out for a little bit longer. As soon as that starts to close in, he needs to pit. Madison Down, obviously fresh tyres on that car. He's about half a second per lap quicker than Mitchell McLeod, so it'll be interesting to see what Mitch decides to do coming around now to the pits.
We are on lap 22.
No, he's going to stay out for another one.
Keeps going here. These lap times are very important to follow. Crosses the line and it's a 25.8. McLeod's lap times are consistent. Madison Down is quick.
Yeah, the Reds and Madison Down look like they've definitely got speed on Mitchell McLeod. I'm just having a little bit of a look at through some of the lap times from Madison to kind of get an idea of where his tyres start going off. How many laps it gets into, but he was fairly consistent across his whole stint on his last set. So, I think Mitchell McLeod needs to start being a little bit worried and get this car into pits now to really stay in the battle.
Yeah, I think the McLeod might start having to worry about Hampstead soon, because Hampstead is only 5 seconds behind Rex Brookman. He's been carrying a lot of pace and he's moved himself up through the field.
Yeah, definitely, and right behind Richard is George Maris. Obviously, he's been right in amongst this. He's definitely got some speed there on Richard Hampstead. He just can't get the car in the right position. Richard using all of the track to make sure he can't get past.
Jared behind this here. Jared Bilsell finds himself P7 on the road right now. Another one of the Tag Pest Management drivers. Bilsell in his first full-time season here, doing a great job in P7.
Yeah, fantastic job from Jared. Started out in position 5, so in the top 10 for qualifying, which is great to see. Currently sitting 7th, and
Cattell and Marlon starting to heat up though.
It's like Marlon's backed off a little bit after that bit of contact.
Oh.
Bo struggles trying to pull that up into turn 1. He's going to hit the dirt. Oh, he's managed to keep that together.
He has to go defensive immediately. McMullen with a huge run into turn 2. Look at the way McMullen switched it. He's got the crossover move. He's got position on him. He's going to hold him wide on the exit, drag him down to turn 4.
Definitely, he's got the power down. Bo's got some straight line speed, it looks like. Marlon's obviously in the better position. I don't think Bo Cattell's going to be able to get him under brakes here, because Bo Cattell's been struggling trying to pull this car up.
Oh, big move under brakes there.
Cattell puts it sideways, coming into the corner here. Marlin's got speed on him. Oh! Loses it. Bo Cattell disrupts him.
Mullen did a great job to keep that thing on the black stuff. Fighting very, very hard there with Bo Cattell. Cattell did a fantastic job to hold the position because you would have thought that McMullen had it done and dusted. Cattell's car is looking very ugly in the rear.
I'm surprised he managed to keep that together, and I mean, fantastic piece of driving there from both to race that hard and not collect each other. Bo Cattell is struggling to pull this thing into the corners. It is just sliding. Every time he's on the brakes, he just can't keep it together.
Now, another Powerbond car that's fighting very hard right now. Check out Kurt Stenberg all over the back of Josh Muggleton. Stenberg putting in a brilliant drive here against the former series champ.
Yeah, definitely. Not letting Muggo get away at all. Really sinking his teeth in.
Oh, Muggo with a big slide. Stenberg's going to have a run. They're going to go side by side. This is like a replay of the lap before, just a different Powerbond car.
Oh! He's going to outbrake himself. Oh, he's going to manage to pull that one in. He's going to go out wide.
On the track. That's going to give him a great run down the back straight, though. Fantastic bit of racing here.
Absolutely fantastic. I'm pretty sure if this stays like this all the way to the end, I'm pretty sure on lap 36 or lap 37, you're going to see Kurt just take a massive dive just as they can get in front of Josh Muggleton.
The final laps are going to be very exciting. You see Marlon McMullen putting big pressure again on Bo Cattell. There's 10 laps to go in the race, and there's still a lot that can happen between now and the finish.
Mitchell McLeod still out. I'm completely surprised by this move. He's decided to power on and still not take a pit, so the rest of the field will start thinning out. Lee Ellis as well, still not in pits.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that all plays out, but for the moment being, there's great battles happening on the racetrack right now. McMullen is barely nothing between it, and he's side by side on the front straight. McMullen's going to be on the outside. He's going to try a switchback.
Marlin's going to get a really good run from the line that he took, making Bo Cattell go shallow into turn 1. Yep, he's going to have a look. Bo Cattell struggling under brakes.
You see the rear of Cattell stepping out each time he gets to a corner. It's looking pretty ugly because it's doing it under braking and under acceleration. Stenberg side by side. Stenberg and Muggo side by side through turn 2. They've got the overlap here, but Muggo's going to have the run.
Stenberg's just struggling to get the power down coming out of the corners, but it seems really, really strong under brakes.
Fantastic bit of driving here by both these drivers. Muggo coming from the back of the grid with minimal practice. Stenberg putting huge pressure on him now. Muggleton's partner in crime from earlier in the race, Justin Ruggie, has made another pit stop, so unfortunately Ruggie are 19th on the road.
I reckon Stenberg might say this is probably one of the best races he's had in his life. George Maris. Really? Now he's got the pressure here on Richard. Oh, he struggles coming out of that corner.
Yeah, that slide hurt him there, but he's going to be pushing very hard on the back of Richard Hampstead because Maris has looked like he's had pace. He just can't find a way by. He drops a wheel off chasing time.
He's trying to use everything he can to get this done. Really strong under brakes there. Pushes out a little bit wide. He's struggling there to get the power down. Alright, let's ride on board. Let's watch see how close he gets coming through the roller coaster section of this track where it all starts to get interesting. We've seen George Maris really strong through this part of the track.
Pay attention to just how blind this place is and listen to how careful you are on the throttle. His car definitely looks like it's got better turn, and there's a big slide from Maris just as I go to say it.
This is where it gets really interesting, coming up over here. Yeah, George Maris can really get the most out of those corners, get the car in, and just kind of let the car slide all the way through. Richard Hampstead having to take really shallow lines to make sure that Maris doesn't get around. Lee Ellis decides to pit. Mitchell McLeod, I think the only one left to pit now.
Yeah, that will leave a McLeod out in the lead with only 10 laps to go.
looks like George Maris. Just having a look at him.
Oh,
he's
big slide from Maris. A lot of opposite lock in there.
He was sliding into the last corner and into the first, so obviously starting to struggle there with a little bit of grip.
Now Ellis is coming out of the pits. He's going to have Clayton Brooks go past, Cattell go past, McMullen go past. He's going to have Dean O'Brien for company, so looks like Ellis might have lost a bit of ground there.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously the late pitch strategy isn't working to the way that he hoped it would. Bo Cattell and Marlon McMullen. Nice little one.
Denberg and Muggo are on again. They're going to run door to door out of turn 2 once more. Muggo keeps getting a great run off the outside there. Stenberg, whoever's closer than he was before, he's going to poke the nose
he's
out.
He's going to have a look here.
Side by side they run to turn 4. Stenberg deep onto brakes, but Muggo holds him out. A great bit of driving. Mitch McLeod, race leader, into the pits. That will cycle everything through. We're going to have to see how this pans out, because unless Mitch knows something we don't, I think he's going to drop.
Madison down absolutely is going to get in front of Mitchell here. Renz Brookman as well.
Cloud is off the jacks and away, and he's lost a big chunk of time.
Yeah, here we Richard Hampstead, George Maris coming around the corner now as well.
Looks like McLeod is going to have position over Hampstead and Maris, who are still fighting hard. See Maris dropping the wheel off in the background there.
I'm having just a look at Renz Brookman's car. He's got massive damage there on the right-hand side.
Yeah, it might be from him and Maris, who were driving cars earlier in the race.
Oh, here we go, McMullen going to have a good run here. Brilliant job there.
Cattell managed to still hold his ground. You've seen that you can get a good run doing this. We already saw Cattell fend off this exact same move a couple of laps ago.
They're going to try this again. See if Marlon's learned anything from his last little bash there with Bo Cattell.
It's the same again. Cattell pushes as hard as he dares. He's going to have the inside line for the left-hander. McMullen going to try a switch back, but there's no room there. Cattell still holds on.
Oh, Marlon knows that he has the speed, but brilliant driving there from Bo Cattell to fend the way that he has coming into those corners.
Oh, he can't pass there again. Oh, he thinks about it.
Nice drift there from Marlon. Look at this though. This brings Clayton Brooks, Lee Ellis into this battle now.
Yeah, Brooksy sees that he can help a team car, so I think he's going to be mad keen to get past the Powerball car and take some pressure off his teammate. But McMullen going to nose the
McMullen's going to put his nose in there. He just can't get that drive out. He's taking a really shallow line. Can't get the run out. Maybe it's time
oh, he's all over him again. He's got clear pace over Bo Cattell. He just can't do anything with it. Cattell driving a brilliant defensive run at the moment. And you see Brooks and Ellis, looks like they're going to start to fight in a second.
Oh, Marlon.
And Brooksy behind
Brooksy's gone too wide, but Lee Ellis straight through.
Oh, that's not what Cattell needed. He was hoping for a friend in all of this, and he's just lost his team leader.
This still could play to both advantage. Marlon McMullen, if Lee Ellis gets behind him, Marlon needs to be really careful about how aggressively he drives. Oh, Brooksy having...
Stenberg again! They're side by side into turn 4! Jeez! Somehow they make it through.
These boys.
I tell you what, that run down from turn 2 to turn 4.
Marlon's giving Bo a bit of a push.
Oh,
Bo goes sideways.
Ellis is there
Lee
too.
Ellis.
Nothing between these three.
Lee Ellis now with Marlon. Marlon needs to be careful. He can't be as aggressive now with Bo Cattell because he's going aggressive, leaves himself open.
It's Brooksy that you've got to watch here because he's got no one in his mirrors to worry about. Bo Cattell's car is a demon underneath him. He's got no rear grip. It's fighting him on entry and exit. Look at that slide. Turning in for the corner.
Yeah, he's struggling. He's definitely struggling. But he definitely would be feeling a little bit of relief here as Lee Ellis.
McMullen runs defensive. Ellis is looking strong. Cattell's looking ugly.
I'm surprised that he's still up there.
Oh, there's a three-car
look
fight
at this
further up
battle
the road.
here. George Maris, Richard Hampstead, still battling.
Stenberg
Jared
on the
Filson.
outside. Stenberg and McMullen, Muggleton again. Oh, sideways is McMullen and Stenberg off the road.
Marlon McMullen's just giving Bo Cattell a little bit of a bump. Here we go, we're coming into the real interesting part. Look at this battle here. Marlon McMullen pushing Bo, pushing him.
Now, just
Lee Ellis! He hit the grass. Lost momentum.
there is so much going on here, guys. We hope that we're getting it all to you in pictures. There's just fights everywhere. You look, Cattell sideways.
Goes out
It's going to be an
wide.
overlap.
Marlon McMullen's got the run.
Oh, but he's got to give up the position.
He needed to stick
Cattell
that
holds
Lee
it,
Ellis.
Ellis.
Ellis is...
And there's contact on the front straight.
This looks like a little bit of a touch there. Lee Ellis pushing Marlon.
Ellis had an overlap. McMullen had a run. He shut the door on him. How they
Here we
did
go.
under the fence, I don't know. But even with that gap, Cattell has already got McMullen all over him again. Cattell just can't get away from this fight. He's having to drive turn 2 to set himself up for the run now. You see him leaving the door open big time just to get a run.
Has nothing, absolutely nothing. But I'm surprised he can keep this thing on the track. Marlon McMullen trying to get somewhere where he can put his nose in. Every time he puts his nose in, though, he just can't get the run out, and Bo Cattell gets back around him. But Clayton Brooks is now back on the back of Lee Ellis.
McMullen again. He's so close there. He's got such better turn in than Bo Cattell. He just can't find a way through. These guys are doing an awesome job not to wreck each other. McMullen on the turn.
Marlon, Lee Ellis. He's going to get this position off Marlon.
Ellis through. Ellis looks like he's got pace. I think Justin Ruggier was off the track a little bit further ahead. Bit of a distraction for these guys. But Cattell still holds his position. Ellis through on McMullen. Clayton Brooks still sitting fourth on screen.
I'm not a conspiracy man, but an ANZ car happening to be parked and distracting Marlon there from the Bo Cattell incident.
Justin Ruggier's in the pits.
Justin Ruggier to the pits.
Ruggier pitted from that incident. He was off the road. He's obviously in a bit of trouble at the moment. Hammer, Maris, this is still on. Jared Filsell sitting there licking his chops. Maris using all of the road and all of his rubber just to try and make something happen on that TTL Falcon. McMullen is so good at that turn 4, he just can't do anything with it. His car looks fantastic through this stretch of road, taking you through this twisty back section. So hard to make a pass even if you do have an overlap through here.
Yeah, definitely. You can be fast through this section, but if you haven't got track position here, it's almost pointless to have the speed there. You just can't get around it. It's next to impossible.
4 laps to go for race leader Madison Down. We haven't really spoken about him for a little while just because of everything else that's been happening. He's got 4 seconds clear from Renz Brookman, but look who's sneaking up on the picture here. This is Mitch McLeod.
Yeah, Mitch McLeod, last lap by 125.745 compared to Renz Brookman at 126.265. So
we could have another battle on our hands in a couple of seconds.
Yeah, Mitch McLeod really putting the pace down. I'm actually wondering if Renz made a little bit of a mistake because it's almost half a second difference in lap time compared to his last lap.
Maris and Hampstead still on. This turn 4 is making some epic racing here, and he nearly serves him.
Jared Filsell though is going to have a look here at George Maris. I think he's just waiting to pick up the scraps.
Yeah, Filsell's probably thinking that if he gets involved in this, it could end ugly. But on the other hand, he's thinking if those two get together, beauty, I'll take 2 spots, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's it. Consistency is the key here.
And looking through the field, there's fights everywhere you look. Cerny finds himself all on his own in P7. He's about the only man with a quiet race right now. Cattell, Ellis, McMullen are still on, and Stenberg. Stenberg's catching Josh Muggleton again.
That's amazing. Josh Muggleton actually pulled a pretty decent gap there on Stenberg, and Stenberg's just to reel that back in. Fantastic drive there from Kurt, and it looks like Bo Cattell has got himself a nice little gap as Lee Ellis pushes this car, but Marlon McMurray and Brooksy's going to go on the inside line here into turn 1.
That's awkward.
Can he get the run? Oh, Marlon's going to have the inside line here. Drag
Really
coming
tough
down
corner,
into the
turn one.
hairpin.
McMullen gonna have
Oh,
the third line.
Marlon's struggling on the brakes. Brooksy goes out wide, which is going to give him a really good run here coming into turn 2.
McMullen shut the door though. Didn't leave him any more room than he needed. Gonna run defensive down into 4.
Brooksy taking the wide line. Yeah, Brooksy looking really strong there under brakes. Marlon very defensive there, making sure he hugs that corner to make sure Brooksy doesn't get a run. 3 laps left in this one, and it's been an intense race. Pit stop strategies threw up a good mixture with Mitchell McLeod, Renz Brookman, Madison down. But these racing here, these 4 guys, absolutely intense.
Now McLeod and Brookman, 4/10 separating them this time by. McLeod was a whole 4/10 quicker the last time. 2 laps, 4/10 to make. We've already seen some brilliant battles, and I think this one's going to quickly become another.
Yeah, a lot of respect between these 2 drivers as well, between Renz and Mitchell, obviously being old teammates and good friends, so always epic to watch these 2 guys battle. We've seen some really good ones in the past between them. Oh, Renz looks like he's struggling. He's really struggling trying to get the power down in this car.
Yeah, another ANZ car that's looking pretty rough at the moment. Cattell we saw also struggling for tyres or for setup or for something, but Renz's car does look a little bit beaten up on the right side. It's McLeod that's going to be hungry for second.
Yeah, definitely. He'll want to take his podium now, but he'll want to get up there.
You know how you picked lap 37 maybe for a dive? Denberg right on the back of Muggleton again. He's going to have 1 lap at the end of this one to make it by, because Madison Down has taken the white flag. Madison Down has begun the last lap of the race.
Alright, this is going to be
resolved.
The Renz Brookman, Mitchell McLeod coming into turn 2. Mitchell McLeod not going to have a lot of time to get this done, and there's definitely not much passing opportunity. See if he thinks about having a dive.
Just behind this, Maris and Phil Cell still going on, so there's a lot of little angry packs that are going on. Maris off the road!
Maris just can't pull it up.
Maris hard in the fence, goes off in turn 2.
This
May have a bit of damage, his car's not looking too good right now. There's Phil Cell to fit.
There we go, Phil Cell just sitting there waiting for something to happen.
He got it. Now Brookman has managed to hold off there, but Stenberg, we said it was going to happen.
It's going to happen. He's going to do it. He's going to make a move.
Oh, Muggleton keeps it tight on the outside. No, squeeze him.
They've come together. Oh, looks like Muggo's got some damage there. Still managed to get the drive out. Madison
whilst
down.
That's happening, race leader Madison down for Tats.com. This has been a season of dominance. He's taken 5 wins from 6 starts. He's going to round the final couple of corners and he's going to make it. Big slide for 6 from 7.
Renz Brookman, Mitchell McLeod trying to. Mitchell's going to get the run.
Oh, it's a drag race. McLeod wins.
Right at the end there.
Of that fight there. Madison Down wins the race. Mitchell McLeod P2. Renz Brookman in 3rd. Hampstead 4th. Phil Cell 5th. Maris did manage to hold on to 6th. But check out Patel here. How he's managed to hold on for 8th, I don't know. That was an angry pack.
Yeah, angry pack and a very, very orderly car, and he's managed to bring that in 8th. Fantastic job there from Bo Cattell.
Muggo and Stenberg, wasn't that a fantastic fight there?
Absolutely brilliant racing from those 2 guys. Stenberg probably had the time of his life in that car.
Yeah, that was a brilliant bit of driving by the 2 of them. Another brilliant drive, however, for race winner Madison Down. Takes the victory, finds himself with a lot to celebrate for because he's got a commanding lead over this championship.
Yeah, fantastic race there from Madison Down. The biggest what if in that is Mitchell McLeod obviously lost a lot of time with his late pitch strategy that he chose to take. If he pitted a few laps earlier, it probably wouldn't have been that much distance left between Madison and Mitchell.
Yeah, he must have had some sort of plan or something or other because, of course, the drivers get the same info that we do. Brought it home in second, which he's got to be happy with, but you can't help but wonder what he would have been like if he was on the same strategy as our race winner. But still, that's how racing goes. P2's nothing to sneeze at either with this competition. No,
definitely not. And at a track like Mid-Ohio, you know, the competition was always going to be tough. So, fantastic result there from Mitchell McLeod. And Renz Brookman as well, you know, only just pipped there for the second position and ends up picking up a third. Still a fantastic result. Probably one of the better races we've seen from Renz in a while. We'll pull up that move that Mitchell McLeod actually made on Renz Brookman because it was a great move right into that last corner to make sure that he secured that second position. It looks like Renz has just managed to cough a little bit there and couldn't get the power down, and Mitchell McLeod took advantage.
Yeah, nothing in it there. I tell you, McLeod was probably celebrating in the helmet a bit because he drove a tough race. Second, he'll be very happy with, I'm sure. A lot of drivers out there that work very hard for the results that they earned. I think there's going to be a lot of drivers who are going to be very excited as well because, you know, we all like being in these big sort of fights. Maybe it's unfortunate for Renz Brookman. He may have had a bit of a fuel issue at the end there, but everybody else had some fantastic battles, and they'll probably have a big smile on your face because this is what racing is all about.
Yeah, exactly. A race like that, you don't really worry about where you finish. You know, if you've had a good race, that's what matters. And a lot of those guys probably, you know, some of the best racing that I've seen from the V8 Supercar Series.
So now, of course, we'll run through the race results. Our winner for Mid-Ohio is Madison Down, 6.5 seconds clear of Mitch McLeod. He just made it past Renz Brookman on the start-finish line there. Richard Hampstead found himself fourth with Jared Philsell fifth. Maris in 6th. Tobias Cerny had a quiet race in 7th. Behind that was an angry pack with Cattell, Ellis, McMullen and Clayton Brooks. Dean O'Brien there did well to bring it home in 12th. Josh Muggleton and Kurt Stenberg, we saw a lot of that battle. Sam Collins 15th, Michael Fulcher 16th, Richard Hunter and Mark Anderson rounded out the lead lap drivers. Justin Ruggier was a lap down after a couple of off tracks, but actually managed to set the fastest lap of the race. Then Jake Burton, Corey Preston and Ian Ford all unfortunately struck troubles, but I've got to say there must be a lot of happy drivers out there after that one.
Yeah, definitely. I think there will be a lot of drivers with big grins on their face after that race. But yeah, a great race to watch, entertaining all the way through. I love it when they're like that.
And a driver with probably the biggest grin out of all of them has got to be the race winner. That's Madison Down. Mate, you are on something of a tear right now.
Yeah, for sure. It really couldn't be going too much better this season. Almost won every race we contested, and tonight the car was a dream to drive yet again. It all ran smoothly. Pole position, managed to lead the race and come out with a nice straight car with another win. So great for the Tats.com Racing crew once again to have us on the top step, and good to see Mitch McLeod up there as well in second. I know he put a lot of work in this week, so well done, Mitch.
Yeah, there's a lot of exciting battles out there. You should really be watching this one later on, mate. But 6 wins from 7 starts. Has a season ever gone better for you than this, mate?
I don't think so. I know there was a season a few seasons ago where it nearly went this well, but this one for sure has just almost gone textbook. It couldn't really get too much better than this. So, yeah, couldn't be happier. And, yeah, it's a nice way to start the season. Of course, there's still about half the season to go. So anything can happen. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Yeah,
well, there's still a lot of racing to be had. We've seen that these wins, they haven't been all easy for you. You've had to work for them, but you've done a great job to get this fantastic record that you're setting right now.
Yeah, for sure. I've probably worked a bit harder this season than previous ones, and although Muggo and Justin aren't up there this season doing consistent laps and a lot of practice, Mitch McLeod and Renz Brookman and also Richard Hampstead have really stepped up. And I think George Morris as well at Watkins Glen had a really good run. So there's still plenty of guys out there that are a championship threat and a threat each week. So, no, it's great to see.
All right, mate. Well, congratulations again. We'll see you next time at Sonoma.
Thanks, Leo. Cheers.
Now, obviously, one of the guys that we need to talk to in here, Mitchell McLeod. Fantastic run from you, mate. Managing to pull second position there just from Renz Brookman. How do you feel after that one?
Yeah, a bit surprised actually. I thought staying out longer might have worked, but it didn't in the end. So I thought, everyone else behind Renz at the time before I pitted was a fair way behind. So I thought, I'll give it a shot. It's either going to work or it's not. So yeah, it didn't, but Renz ran out of fuel over the line and managed second.
A little bit of cough and sputter there from him. Obviously, pitch strategy didn't work too well for you staying out there for that long. Have you thought about the what if? What if I pitted at around the same time as Madison? If you could have actually got this one?
Yeah, I was thinking about that as soon as I asked Dad what times Madison was doing towards when I pitted, and I was like, dope. But probably should have come in. Like at the start, I was keeping with Madison not too bad, and I reckon that was probably more draft than my pace. So in hindsight, I probably should have pitted earlier, but still happy with second, that's for sure. Yeah,
definitely. Fantastic run from you. You obviously had speed this week. Excited to see what's going to come up in the next few rounds for you. Brilliant job.
Thanks, guys. There's a bit of deja vu having Mads and Renz behind me. Or Mads in front of me.
Same old, huh?
Like the old days.
Great run there from McLeod, the driver who had a bit of misfortune at the line there. Renz Brookman, Renz a podium, still a fantastic result, but a little bit of a cough at the line, took second away from you, but overall a great drive.
Yeah, it was not too bad. Miscalculated the fuel a little bit, as you could have seen. I'm not sure what I did wrong, but I noticed that I had not enough fuel with 5 laps to go, so I had to go in conservation mode, and which worked out well until the last 20 meters or 100 meters.
Yeah, it was pretty close there, mate. We speculated that you were sort of losing a bit of pace, but didn't know what it was in the booth. But it's great to see you looking this strong again. You had a brilliant run to end last season, but haven't really seen the podiums come so far this time. But how's it going for everything else from here? Because great to see you back up in third. Is it going to continue?
I'm not sure. I think I already missed too many weeks to even make 8, so I'm definitely not in there for the championship. But I always try to go for the victory.
Yeah, well, when there's no championship up for grabs, mate, that's when you can just throw it all on the line and try and bring home the win, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for joining us, mate. We'll see you next time.
All right, thanks, guys.
A man in here that I really want to talk to, because he looked like he was struggling for a fair few laps there, but made the racing really entertaining. Bo Cattell, how was your car?
Not too flash. It was I sort of was behind Lee, and I noticed that Tobias and Marlon pit, and I sort of felt like I didn't have much of a choice but to pit a lot earlier than I wanted to, because Lee was doing some good defending. And then my setup wasn't really tyre friendly as it was, so as you could see I was struggling a fair bit with a lack of grip.
Yeah, definitely. It was very noticeable, especially you were struggling under brakes, struggling to get the power down. I'm actually surprised that you managed to hold 8th. You drove really, really hard there. Marlon was applying some serious pressure with Lee Ellis as well. And I mean, you've got to be pretty happy with that drive, with how bad your car was.
Yeah, big time. It was Marlon did a great job. I thought he had me a few times there, but I was just wheel spinning first, second, and third, just trying to keep the position. And like I said, just had no traction, and the front tyres were gone. It was just a horrible mess, and I was playing with the bars, trying to work something out, but it just wasn't happening.
Either way, it might have been very difficult for you, but it was definitely entertaining for us. So great race out there from you, and yeah, can't wait to see you for the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Now, P4 on the road went to Richard Hampstead, joining us up here in the box. Richard, I tell you, it looked like you had your hands full. It was a tough fight that you had there.
Yeah, no, I had a really good race actually. I struggled for pace all week, and I went for the no tyres, little bit of fuel strategy, and just came out in front of Maris and spent pretty much the rest of the race just trying to hold him off. And yeah, I managed to do that, which was pretty good. I don't know what happened on the last lap with him there, but yeah, good battle.
You didn't look like you had the car compared to he did, but he just couldn't find a way through. You were driving it, look, from our point of view, very straight through turns 1 to 4, and then when he was all over the back, you through the back section, couldn't find a way through. So it must have been a lot of pressure there. Did a great job to hold him off, though.
Yeah, well, I've done enough races here to know that it's really, really difficult to pass. So I knew that if I could just not make any mistakes and get good runs off the exits, I'd have a good chance of holding him off, and yeah, seemed to work.
Well, P4 is a pretty good result, especially considering that going into the last qualifying session, you weren't even in the top 10 on the timesheets, mate. So happy overall?
Yeah, pretty happy. I got some new pedals the other week, which I'm not quite used to yet. So yeah, hopefully I get on top of them pretty soon and can get back up to beating Madison.
Yeah, mate, I'm sure you're looking forward to that. See you next week at Sonoma?
Yep, should be there.
Awesome, mate. Looking forward to it.
Right, cheers, guys.
All right, let's move on to Jared. Fantastic job to manage to finish in 5th. You had a great race and obviously inherited a position there right at the end thanks to George Maris's little incident. How'd you find the race?
Hey, boys. Yeah, it was a really good race at the start and towards the end as well. I just couldn't get my rhythm together after I seen Richard pit, so yeah, that cost me a little bit there, and I actually took rears in the pit stop, so I was hoping that would help me out towards the end, but they sort of went off trying to push too hard to catch them.
Yeah, you look like you still managed to have some pace, and you're definitely still taking it to them. Do you think you're going to be that strong continuing through the season?
I hope so. I haven't driven Sonoma, and I hadn't driven Mid-Ohio until this week, so I'll do the laps this week, and hopefully I can be up there again.
Yeah, fantastic. Great to see you out at Sonoma. I'm glad that you did well at Mid-Ohio. Fantastic track, and yeah, great to see you up there.
Now, Tobias Cerny bought it home in P7 for the Powerbond team. Tobias, it was a bit of a quiet race for you compared to what we've seen from some of the others, but still a fantastic performance to bring home another strong top 10.
Yeah, hello guys, how are you? I think it was. I'm quite happy with the quiet race. I had a lot to do in the first few laps. Went a bit side by side through the first few laps, and yeah, decided to get away from this battle packs to make the earliest pit stop possible, and drive my own race, because I'm not really enjoying this track, especially the second part of the lap, and with traffic ahead and or beside, it's one of my worst tracks and nightmares, or whatever you want to call it. So I guess in total my strategy worked quite fine. So finishing 7th, I'm pretty happy with the result.
Yeah, especially to finish there if you're saying you're not really comfortable with the track, mate. We've seen you come through a great streak of form over the season here. Of course, your podium at Montreal being the highlight. It was still a very strong drive tonight, I think. And what do you think for the rest of the season? Any tracks circled from here?
Yeah, I have to... I don't know, there are a few non-favorites as well. I'm not a fan of Phillip Island, to say this, to be honest. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Sonoma. Maybe I can grab a few good position and results there, and Oran Park in the end, yeah.
Yeah, mate, we're looking forward to seeing how it all goes, because as I said, great to watch you just continue to fight your way up, and hopefully there'll be more podiums before season's out.
Yeah, it will be difficult with all the other boys out there, but yeah, we'll give my best, and let's see.
Take care, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. See ya.
All right, the man who actually got probably a fair bit of airtime from us because he was always involved in a battle somewhere. Lee Ellis, how was that race for you?
Well, I finished, so I'm pretty happy with it, really. Yeah.
You got to always be happy when you cross the line with a complete car. Obviously, it wasn't the most easy race for you. You had a few battles up and down the field there. Were you happy overall with how the car was set up?
Not really. I didn't really like the track. It was pretty much like driving on an ice rink all week. Well, as much as I did practice, and then managed to pull out a .6 in quali on the last lap or whatever. So yeah, it's like the setup could have been better, but it was one of those you need to practice tracks, and the Grand Prix would took precedent over iRacing for now.
Well, that's a good excuse for not getting the practice in, and obviously, because it's been so long since we've been here, you wouldn't be used to the track. It was about 2 years or something since we've been here, but fantastic drive by you, and you definitely made it interesting on the recall. So thanks for making sure that you got time to jump in after the Grand Prix.
Cheers, thanks.
The fight, of course, that Daniel's referring to was a pretty thick one. A couple of drivers in there, and Marlon McMullen was another one who got a lot of screen time from a lot of exciting driving. Brought it home P10, buddy, but gee, that must have been exciting.
Yeah, g'day guys. It was a interesting race. I went through quite a few emotions behind the wheel, which I've never gone through before, but held it all together and kept it composed. But otherwise than that, had a really good race, and I wanted to try and get out of that battle pack at the start. And as the other guys have touched on, Tobias and the rest of the team just diverted into the pit lane as early as possible. And Bo came out later and was battling. I thought they would be a little bit trapped in the traffic, but no, he came out in front of me and also Tobias. So I did the best I could to stick with them, and yeah, it started to really all develop from there. And a little bit frustrated, you got a little bit more pace, but at the end of the day, I just Bo was doing a sensational job, and kudos to him. He kept it on the track, and I gave it every single thing I had.
Yeah, you definitely looked like you had speed at that point in the race. Of course, Mid-Ohio, a difficult place to make a pass at, but great bit of driving there to keep that pressure on, mate. And what's going through your head at that point when you've got just so much pace, but you can't do anything with it? But on the other hand, it's so exciting to be a part of.
Don't bloody take him out.
Oh, you did a very good job with that then, Marlon. P10, another top 10 there for the Powerbond team, and got to be happy with that overall. Watch the race. I think you'll like it better that way.
I think I will. I mean, going through the car, I said you go through a few emotions, but I know more than well and truly that's going to be a sensational battle to watch. But otherwise, we've a couple of things to learn after tonight, and we'll pick up our form and carry it on to Sonoma, hopefully.
No worries, mate. We'll see you then.
Cheers, thanks, guys.
All right, we better move on to someone who probably shouldn't have been on the track, but he did a fantastic job anyway. Clayton Brooks, fantastic race out there. How did it feel to be driving instead of commentating for a change?
Mate, I'm ecstatic. I had an absolute ball. I've got to do this more often.
Are you going to give up the commentary job and take back to racing, are we?
Oh, mate, I'd never leave you, but I had really good fun out there. Finished mid-pack. Can't expect much more than that with first drive back in quite a while. But yeah, the battle that Bo and Marlon were in, I was able to catch up to them. I mean, pit stop strategy didn't really work out too good, and with them battling, I was able to catch up to them. But then Luke came out of the pits, and he was an absolute rocket. Made a mistake. He got past. But then I thought, I'll just let these guys sort them out themselves, and might pick up a few spots. To their credit, they all kept it really clean. It was a terrific battle. I had the best view in the house for that. So, yeah, I got a smile from ear to ear, mate. It was great.
Yeah, definitely. It was a great battle happening in front of you, and for a while there, I thought you might be picking up a few scraps and gaining a few positions, but the boys did a great job to keep it on the track. But plenty of airtime for you as well on that broadcast, so you should be happy about that.
Oh yeah, mate. Yeah, no, I had a couple of little goes. I had a go at Marlon there at one stage, and yeah, it was really good side by side racing, and I don't think there was any hard contacts with me with any of the other guys at all. And it was a big battle at the start.
Sorry, guys. It looks like TeamSpeak's had another technical issue tonight. It's been a bit of a run of dramas for us, so we'll finish up tonight and some incredible racing. Big congratulations again to Madison Down and everyone. Unfortunately, we didn't get to have a chat to Josh Muggleton or Kurt Stenberg, so just have to leave it there. But congratulations to everyone out there. Great racing from everyone, and thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you next week.